Good afternoon. Welcome to Chicago's 17th annual Salute to America's Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Veterans. Today's salute is under the aegis of the City of Chicago's Commission on Human Relations, the Advisory Council for Veterans Affairs, and the Chicago chapter of the American Veterans for Equal Rights, AVER. We will begin our salute with the posting of colors by Ed Wasilas. This will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and the singing of our national anthem by Drew Murley. All who are able, please stand for the posting of colors and remain standing through the end of our opening ceremonies. Color Guard, post colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Drew. Please be seated. I am Larry Simpson, a former member of the Illinois Army National Guard. The American Veterans for Equal Rights was founded 29 years ago. We are also known by our acronym, AVER, which means to declare positively. The President Emeritus of the Chicago chapter is James Darby, who served in the U.S. Navy during the Korean conflict. Jim co-founded Chicago chapter of AVER 27 years ago. Jim Darby.
Thank you very much, Larry. We are the LGBT Veterans, and we started 27 years ago in response to President Clinton's pre-election statement that he was going to lift the ban and that gay people could serve openly. He chickened out, He fell under the spell of the colonels and the generals, and he instituted the don't ask, don't tell policy. Over the next 17 years, under DADT, 15,000 gay people were kicked out of the military. I should say that again. 15,000 people lost their jobs, were fired, were kicked out under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. In 2010, President Barack Obama lifted the ban, and gay people were able to serve openly and honestly. And we still are waiting for transgendered people to be able to serve along with us openly and honestly. I would now like to introduce the veterans on stage who have served our country. I'm a Korean War veteran, 1952 to 56. Larry Simpson, Illinois Army National Guard. Stanley Jensick, United States Navy. Gene Albright, 20 years in the United States Air Force. Mona Noriega, the Commissioner of Human Relations for the City of Chicago. Tanya Moulton will be our speaker. She is U.S. Army. Patrick Morrison, U.S. Army. And our wonderful singer who gave us the national anthem. And then Bruce Inman, U.S. Coast Guard. And now I would like to introduce Mona Noriega, the Commissioner of Human Rights for the City of Chicago.
So good afternoon. Woo, sorry, that's live. So we have a new mayor who's stated very clearly support for military service personnel and the opportunity to deliver on all the freedoms that are guaranteed under the Constitution. And today I read a proclamation by our new mayor. Whereas throughout the history of American lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender Americans of diverse yet convergent backgrounds have fearlessly defended the principles of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of these United States through their service in the United States Armed Forces side by side with their heterosexual counterparts. And whereas generally recognized as the catalyst for the modern gay civil rights movement, the Stonewall Uprising of 1969 sparked unified resistance to the widespread injustices faced by all the greater LGBT community, leading to a resurgence of political, economic, and community activism to gain basic rights. And whereas in 1990, LGBT veterans formed a mutually beneficial organization now called the American Veterans for Equal Rights, AVEIR, to more widely recognize the distinguished service of LGBTQ individuals for the purpose of recognizing and appreciating their distinguished military service, which led to the formation of its Chicago chapter 2 years later. And whereas celebrating the 28th anniversary this year, the Chicago chapter of AVEIR has remained steadfast in supporting and assisting lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender veterans in the Chicagoland area for over 27 years. Whereas whilst making history day in and day out, American Veterans for Equal Rights has also witnessed extraordinary cultural shifts with the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 2010, allowing LGBT-identified citizens to serve openly and proudly in the United States Armed Forces. And whereas in their tireless work toward a more perfect union, affirming to all, the members of the Chicago chapter of AVEIR persist in giving of their time, resources, and expertise to improve the lives of all veterans, bringing about the dedication of monuments to LGBTQ military service in recent years, including one of the first federally approved LGBT veterans monument on federal land at Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery in Elmwood, Illinois, and honoring the military service of LGBT veterans on the corner of Halsted and Addison in the historic Lakeview neighborhood. Now, therefore, I, Lori E. Lightfoot, Mayor of the City of Chicago, do hereby proclaim June 25, 2019 to be Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Veterans of America Day in Chicago, and encourage all Chicagoans to acknowledge and salute these outstanding veterans for their brave sacrifice and unwavering dedication to our country and ongoing contributions to the City of Chicago. Signed, Lori E. Lightfoot, Mayor of the City of Chicago.
Thank you, Commissioner Noriega. Our guest speaker today is Tanya Moulton. Tanya served in the U.S. Army. She currently is Coordinator of Diversity and Inclusion Services with the Howard Brown Health Clinic. Ladies and gentlemen, Tanya Moulton.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Tanya Moulton, and I am a proud veteran of the United States Army, served honorably 8 years with the 332nd Corps Support Battalion, here in the state of Illinois. As I said, I am a proud veteran, and I am also a proud Black transgender woman. I know what it truly means firsthand to serve my country. In basic training, you are taught that you're a soldier first, your trade second. In combat, titles don't matter. Whether you're a cook, receptionist, or on the front lines, you are trained to defend this country. You are taught the same basic principles and skills, including treating yourself and others with respect and dignity. I still believe in those principles, but the Trump administration has not demonstrated the same. It is foolish and irresponsible to claim that the service of transgender soldiers is disruptive and burdensome. Trans people have always served in the U.S. Armed Forces, and the cost has never been any greater than that of our cisgender counterparts. In fact, some of us face the highest cost, suppressing who we are, denying ourselves the ability to live authentically, while risking our lives for the country and principles we hold dear. This cost went up. The Supreme Court recently, as we all know, permitted the Trump administration's ban on trans people serving in the military, effectively revoking our ability to serve our country in this way, and codifies discrimination against transgender individuals, based partly and incorrectly on the alleged increase in medical costs. Furthermore, trans people have been proudly serving both openly and closeted for years, with no proof that any disruptions have resulted. This decision is particularly striking considering who is targeted and who is actually harmed as a result. Our community is among the most vulnerable to discrimination and are disproportionately the victims of violence. As a community, we are no stranger to inequality. But to have our president, the Supreme Court, and Congress actively work to strip away our safety net is an overt act of institutionalized discrimination by the very country we risk our lives to protect. When our elected officials encourage discrimination against any community, we are even more vulnerable to injustice and violence. When policy strips away our humanity, it further enables and emboldens those who wish to us harm and makes trans people even more unsafe. We are living during a time where violence against transgender community is staggering. Every day we are forced to ask ourselves if we will be the next name on the long list of trans people murdered simply for living our truth, for existing. With this ban, we now must consider whether the country many of us are willing to die for even values our lives. As a progressive society, we should all be shocked, alarmed, and dismayed by a government that blatantly condones discrimination upon its own citizens. I enlisted in the military not because I was forced by a draft, but because I felt a duty to fight for the rights and liberties that we enjoy each and every day. I stood in the military entrance processing station in Indianapolis and took an oath swearing I would support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. My trans siblings have fought and died for this country, right alongside our cisgender brothers and sisters. When you are in the trenches of war and on the battlefield, you don't have time to care about a person's skin color, gender identity, or sexual orientation. What matters is that the people standing beside you will have your back. Being able to serve freely and openly is a basic human right that we all should be afforded, no matter our gender identity or expression. President Trump's actions have told people like me, you are fit to pay taxes, but not fit to serve. Trans individuals are productive tax-paying citizens who give to this country as much as any other American or group of people. We are not demanding special consideration, only just treatment, because separate is certainly not equal. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Again, I would like to thank Commissioner Oriega and her staff for making arrangements for today's salute. I thank all the participants in today's salute. And I thank all of you for attending the salute and honoring LGBT veterans. We traditionally end our salute with a presentation of a memorial wreath at the eternal flame. This ceremony will conclude with the sounding of taps by trumpeters Susan Jones and Melissa Terrell of the Lakeside Pride Marching Band. You are invited and encouraged to join us for the laying of the wreath at the eternal flame at the east side of the plaza. Please stand for the retiring of the colors. Color guard, retire colors.